Hello everybody, September checking in from the Hanure server on what is the third day of the Player Appreciation event. First, I want to clear up some of the mistakes I made in my previous video about this event. Then I'm going to recap some of the predictions I made just to see exactly how accurate they were, and then I'm going to also speculate on some future values. First, the mistakes. I reported the Ventures growth stones would be double XP. Normally they're 10K. With this event, I said they'd be 20K. That is incorrect. These are the adventure growth stones you get from the first time you run a dungeon in a day, and they also drop off some of the bosses. Again, those are 10K, not 20K as previously reported. Second, I said in war zones you could double your drop rate on crates. After extensive testing, it appears there in fact is a bonus, but it's not quite double the amount of crates that I was actually hoping for. What I have observed is about a 50% increase in the number of crates I can pull from a war zone. For example, last week I did a stream in which I farmed Diamond Shores for an hour. In that time, I was able to collect 66 Prince crates. Last night, same zone, same buffs, I pulled 92. I have also found similar results in Carcassie Ridgelands. These drop rates are better for sure, but it's not quite the 2 times bonus that I was super hyped about. It amounts to about a 50% increase. Moving on to predictions. First, buy your loot pots now. I said that slowly and with emphasis. It appears that was great advice. Let's take a look at some of these items. The Greedy Goblin Gummies climbed from an average of 18 gold to 23 gold in just the last 3 days. The Greedy Grimoires went from $1.50 to almost 4 gold each. The Elixir of Insatiable Greed, that's the pink one, went from 23 gold to 40 gold. Lucky Quicksilver went from 6 gold to a high yesterday of about 14.5 gold, but it has actually kind of went back down and it's kind of settled right around 7 gold. Finally, the Greedy Dwarven Elixirs went from a modest 15.5 gold to 35 gold. It is quite clear that anybody that had listened to me made a solid investment. And I'm going to actually continue on this prediction and say that with the weekend, the prices are going to remain high or even go a tad higher, with the exception of one item, the Lucky Quicksilver Potion. The reason I did, partition this one out is because it drops pretty frequently in the RNG boxes, and as most people know, in North America, Friday is a typical payday. That means there could be a steady influx of people buying RNG boxes, and that will thwart off any potential demand on this particular potion. My second prediction was to sell your Mysterious Garden Powders now, as the price would surely come down with the amount of crates entering the world. Not bad advice, in the sense you probably haven't lost any money. But the garden powder is a particularly tough market to pin down. Prices actually have dipped ever so slightly, like 20 silver, but nowhere near to the point that I was actually thinking. At least not on my auction house cluster. If you remember in my Larceny is Not Dead series of videos here on YouTube, I used a figure of 18 gold per garden powder. Even though that video is actually weeks old and there is this double drop rate event going on, those prices are still at that 18 gold level. And this really could be for a lot of reasons. One, if you're a person like me, I actually haven't opened up many of the crates that I've been farming. I'm actually just stockpiling them. Others could be doing the same. Then we also have the crafters who are out there in the world. They find these loot crates, they open them up, and they get a couple garden powders, and they think, well, I can finally finish this item that I'm working on. But here's the thing. You need 5 garden powders to make the top tier lumber or cloth or leather or whatever that you're working on. You need 5 of them. So they have to go to the auction house to buy the other 2 or 3 that they need. So You haven't lost any money if you listen to me, but you also haven't been afforded the opportunity to buy low. We still have 4 more days to go, so perhaps this weekend we'll see another shakeup. My last prediction was when this event was going to start. I was way off the mark. Initially, I said this Friday, as in tomorrow, or next Tuesday, as in next week. But as we all know, this actually started Tuesday or last Tuesday. Tryon was really playing this one close to their vest. They didn't even do a full day, a full 24 hours of testing on PTS before they pushed this to live. Thankfully, I did manage to get my previous video up for anybody that follows me on YouTube. So I'll leave this update with one final prediction. Tryon has said that they have been working on a player appreciation package with XL for quite some time, like months now. People are already on the forums and they're already assuming that this 2x event, along with the return of Krolin Ruins, that's the labor ruins, is the extent of the package. I, however, do not feel this is the case. Basically, because Tryon can turn on or off 2x, 1.5x, 3x events at will. They really don't need XL's help to do that. I think we're in for an additional package to be posted to the Tryon website. And I believe this is likely going to be announced tomorrow in their live stream. And in that live stream, I also expect to see some Valentine's Day fluff items. So that's all for today. Let me know how you did with your crate farming. In the war zones that I actually am able to farm in, I only noticed about a 50% increase in the actual crates. Did get a lot more coin purses and all that, but only about a 50% increase. How did you do? And also, please feel free to post any ideas about future videos. I like making them, and I'm glad to help you guys. Give me the ideas, and I'll get to it. Until next time, be well, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button.